Siaya and Kakamega. And I just want to say that our security teams are working on that. Of course, as everybody knows across the country, that one of the biggest challenges here is marijuana. Unfortunately, we have normalized conversation, particularly in the Luanda area. It's become like it's a common normal issue, because it's been socialized within the society for many years. And we need something more than operations. We need a societal change and acceptance that this issue of drug abuse is generating one of the biggest crises in this county and the country. Some of the most affected citizens with mental health, particularly in our mental health institutions, come from this county as a result of abuse of drugs. And therefore, we cannot just talk about enforcement. It must go beyond that. We must do societal sensitization, sitting with the churches, sitting with our county commissioners and our chiefs, assistant chiefs. We must find a lasting solution that is long-term. We must also look at the long-term impact in so far as school dropouts, unemployment, and other challenges that affecting society. In fact, the prevalence of some of the high crimes here are directly related to drug abuse and drug and alcohol abuse. And some of these crimes are really very prevalent here, particularly murder. Murder is cases of murder are very high here, fueled also not just by the alcohol and drug abuse, but also land disputes. Because of the size of land in Vihiga and highly densely populated county, there are a lot of land-related challenges, succession-related issues. Communities, there are pending succession matters to the third generation. And in most cases, the size of land has now shrunk to a very small piece of land, and therefore fuels conflict among family members. So most of these murder cases are also interlinked with family members. So that is a challenge that we must be able to deal with. The other challenge I wanted to speak to is the cases of defilement and gender-based violence. Again, this is a phenomenon that's a problem in all the 4 counties, including Vihiga here. Gender-based violence is prevalent here. In some other areas, it is women who are suffering most. But here also men are suffering because of there are also women who are abusing and beating their husbands and their men. And so the challenges we must be able to confront here as a society. And the other issue we have here is what we call something to do with cultural acceptance of these issues. Why defilement is very prevalent in this region is cultural practices, societal structure. A lot of it is incestuous. It's incest. It's a close family member defiling a small child, an uncle, a stepfather. And I have told the security team we cannot condone this. And that's the conversation we'll have with the chiefs, so that we cannot use alternative dispute resolution mechanism to sort the problem. It must be by just enforcement of the law, and everybody who is involved in defilement must be arrested and charged in a court of law. The other issue is the problem of gangs and goons is not as bad as the 3 other counties, but it is there. We have, as you know, in this county, you have some groups calling themselves Reggae Boys, and the other group that calls itself Nduthi Culture. Whereas the original intention was to establish some, social groupings related to the economic activities these young people are involved in. Now it has been turned to, it is turning out to become a kind of a security threat, because it's mopping up to become gangs like the other gangs, which are in the neighboring counties. As you know, of course, there has been also a group called 42 Brothers. In the next county, it's 47 Brothers. In Busia, it's called 18 Brothers. and all these kind of gangs. Again, in Western region, as I said yesterday in Kakamega, and even in my media interview last night with the media houses, the biggest concern that must bother us in the entire Western region, and we will see how difficult this problem is in Nyanza when we visit there next week, is to have this honest conversation that gangs in other counties are only confined in urban areas, but gangs generally in Western region are all the way to villages and infiltrating the society. So it must bother us. It must bother us as a long-term conversation, not just for immediate personal interest. The question every person who comes from this region must ask themselves, including us in the security sector nationally, is what is the future of the state in the wake of prevalence of small, gangs threatening people. And that's why I said yesterday, and I repeat here, that we will support. We want the Inspector General to boost the teams that are on the ground here by sending more officers to come and help in doing an operation in the entire region to help flush out these gangs and to stem their activities and to ensure that people live in peace. In fact, yesterday in our meeting, you realize some chiefs were saying really very few people are courageous enough to speak publicly about gangs because they fear being in courts visited and attacked. And we will do everything. Our watchman was attacked a few weeks ago. Was it a week ago or two in this area by some of those gangs who are also robbers. And I must say that we will do everything possible to restore order in the society. But we cannot do it on our own. Because if these people are protected by the society, the local community, the leaders, it will not work. But if we join forces together to sort out these issues, we'll be able to clear everything. Who have overstayed, some who are engaged in drugs and alcohol, issues to do with car mobility, operationalization of administrative units, questions to do infrastructure, vehicles, mobility of our officers and so forth shall be answered during the Jukwaa.
But so far, no report has come out regarding the same. Would you kindly comment on the same? You
say the report has not come out?
No.
No, just basically these are acts of robbery, and the specific cases will be dealt with. What I can speak to is the overall policy position that these are crimes that are happening because of organized robberies, sometimes by organized groups. And apart from the situation happening here, you see also Butere is in news all the time. Recently, because of the operations, we were able to, from Busia to Kakamega to Kitale, there was a gang that was operating there with guns and so forth. And when they were arrested, the issues have gone down. That is what we intend to do, to go for the gang and the gang leaders to be able to sort these issues. But the specific concerns about the progress of investigation in the various cases, that can be answered in due course when we get a full report from the DCI. Yeah. Any other person? Yeah, Hugh and then him.
I'm Brian Kisan from the Standard. You have spoken about drug being one of the biggest issues in Vihiga. But from your officers, if you move right now at Mbale and the Kakamega service lane, you'll find those boys are smoking bang. They're using, they have Jabba zone, but they use Mirab.
Yeah.
What are your officers doing? That one doesn't need you to come here for you to crack it. Just say, go and arrest the boys, charge them.
You arrest. I told you earlier, you really need to understand what's happening here. Have you gone to Luanda Market?
Yes, I have.
You will see that at the stage, there are people smoking there openly. Yeah, and when you ask why are these people not being arrested, I told you wachana hawa ni wendawazimu. Hata ukiarrest itasaidia aje na ameshakuwa wendawazimu. So there is a bigger problem than arrest and charge. Yeah, if you go to that particular even area where you are raising, chances are that person has been arrested countless times, taken to court, fined little, sometimes released on bail or on a free bond, and the case is going on. continuous. There has to be something bigger than just a police officer arresting them. Because, as I told you, when crimes become accepted in society, as I told you, even when we spoke about Changa being brewed in Kakamega, now they are brought here, it's taken to Nandi, it's taken to the neighboring counties. It's actually at an industrial scale in Kakamega, then distributed around the neighboring counties. When I spoke about that, you will see, including elected leaders, saying is that why should a minister involve himself in such small things? This Changa is our Changa, we are used to it. So even today, even when I tell somebody we must get rid of marijuana in Luanda, chances are someone will just laugh off. Why? Because they know it's been tried for 30, 40 years. It's not possible. That's why I'm saying the conversation that we must have today, and we will do so with our chiefs and assistant chiefs, is that are the people of this area happy to see their children wasted? Lack of education, the growth of gangs. Would you want to live in a generation in this county where the future is this reggae group? You like to be a reggae? Would you like all your children to be like reggae defenders? All of them to be like these other Nduthi culture? So usiku sako and so forth. Nobody, no parent. So, and that's why the conversation is deeper than arresting one or two people. Lastly, Maina.
My name is Givasu Maina from KBC. And on the Luanda issue, just like you spoke about Kakamega being the largest producer of Changa.
Yeah.
When we were in Trans Nzoia, you also said it was, I think, the most affected county in terms of adulterated and contrabands and whatever kind of alcohol. And in Vihiga County, we also want to confirm that Luanda could be the biggest producer of marijuana. And if that is the case, then it's so telling about the challenges the Western Kenya region is facing. And what could be your strategies in handling these kind of challenges in Western Kenya?
First of all, it is not the production that is done here. As I told you earlier, there is no land. So these places are very small pieces of property. So it's very difficult for someone to hide growing of marijuana, like places like Mount Elgon where you have land, or Mount Kenya where you have land. When we were in Nyeri, you saw the places where the planting of this cannabis happens. It's not about planting here. It's a melting point. You see, Luanda itself is a intersection of the Kisumu side, you have the Siaya side, you have the Uganda border, not very far, you have Kakamega. So it's a famous meeting point. And I think over time the culture was ingrained, and also among the society. So the problem is not the growing, the problem is the peddling. And that's why maybe I should have said this, that already some of the most forget about what the gentleman was saying about arresting maybe the few people who are consuming at a very small scale. The biggest issue is to make sure that we deal with the suppliers and the supplying network, from across, and that conversation we have had in other places. Some of them have been profiled. We have a particular lady here who is notorious. We are on her case. The police have been on her case for a few months ago. She has a network also all the way to Nairobi, and something is being done. There are also sons and daughters from this place that sometimes they are way far away from here, but they own bars and networks of supply of alcohol, adulterated ethanol, and so kind of things. Of course, we will deal with them. So our main focus is not just that's why you saw me emphasizing socio-cultural change when it comes to the affected young people and the society. But in terms of major operation, we will go for the peddlers and the people who are transporting, and traffickers actually, who are making it impossible. Because sometimes you focus so much on arresting the victim, and you forget that they are also victims. They are addicted. They have now been introduced to this. And part of the target also around Rwanda and this area is the university, is the Maseno University. And so our focus, if you go everywhere, new areas where drugs are being peddled are around new educational institutions. And it's our duty to make sure that those areas are protected. Asanteni sana.
Just a last question. My name is William Akosi.
You've just arrived. How can you ask a question? You don't even know what you're saying.
I briefed him. I work in the NTV, Kakamega.
Yeah.
The issue of hate speech that is all over, going all over the country through the politicians.
Yeah.
Most of the time we have heard that these politicians are going to be arrested, and also the NCIC. We have not seen anyone being arrested, and this is a continuation that every politician, when they go anywhere, there's a lot of hate speech through the 190. Maybe through you, what's being done maybe to make sure that this one is being controlled?
Well, hate speech is not condoned in Kenya. You know that DPP, NCIC has recommended certain people to be charged. Their files are being reviewed. In some instances, some of them have rushed to court to block their arrest because citing incidences of or the exercise of constitutional freedoms of speech. But we continue dealing with these issues. Nobody is above the law. Any instances of hate speech will be dealt with decisively. I am very glad to note that in the recent past we haven't seen so many cases of hate speech. It's just a few notorious individuals that are known by Kenyans. And even then, I can see that they have begun to reduce their vitriol. So the point is that we will carry out full enforcement as one way of ensuring that we have a society that is operating within the law, particularly as we prepare for the elections. I promise you that we will charge all these people in a court of law, and there are no sacred cows.
And finally, Waziri, you talked of the increasing number of mental issues within Vihiga. What strategies are being put in